The rain hammered the cracked asphalt of south-central LA like 1,000 tiny fists, turning every pothole into a mirror that reflected the spinning red and blue strobes. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder, closer, until two black and whites screeched sideways across the mouth of the alley, boxing in the lone figure who had nowhere left to run. She was soaked to the bone, hoodie clinging to her narrow shoulders, hands already raised high so the cops could see she held nothing but surrender. "On your knees! Now!" barked Officer Delgado, his Glock steady while his partner circled wide, boots splashing. She dropped hard, gravel biting through her jeans, and the second she hit the ground, the younger cop, Ramirez, grabbed a fistful of wet cotton and ripped the hoodie upward to cuff her. That's when the alley lights caught the ink, a gleaming gold trident pinned between her shoulder blades. The eagle's talons clutching a pistol, anchor and trident, the words "the only easy day was yesterday" etched beneath in letters so crisp they could have been carved yesterday. Ramirez's grip slackened. Delgado's shout died in his throat. The rain kept falling, but the world went suddenly, impossibly still. Hey, if you feel that chill racing down your spine already, smash that subscribe button right now and tap the bell, because this channel is where everyday people become legends, and you do not want to miss the next one. Her name was Petty Officer First Class Maya Riptide Calderon, and 12 hours earlier she'd been just another anonymous face in a Greyhound station, duffel slung over one shoulder, ball cap pulled low. She was 31, 5'6" in boots, and carried the kind of quiet that made strangers step aside without knowing why. Maya had spent 8 years in the teams, 2 platoons, 4 continents, and more firefights than any civilian could count without losing their mind. She'd earned that trident the hard way, Hell Week SQT, a shattered femur in Fallujah, patched with a titanium rod that still ached when storms rolled in. The Navy gave her a medical discharge, a folded flag, and a pat on the back. The VA gave her a 3-month wait for an appointment. So Maya came home to Los Angeles to bury her father, settle his estate, and figure out who the hell she was when nobody was shooting at her anymore. But the city had other plans. It started with a traffic stop that wasn't a traffic stop. Maya was walking Crenshaw at dusk, earbuds in, listening to the ocean waves' white noise app that kept the nightmares at bay. A cruiser rolled up slow, spotlight blinding. "License and registration," Delgado demanded before she even reached the curb. She wasn't driving. She told him so, calm, respectful, hands visible. Ramirez leaned out the passenger window, smirking. "We got a call about a female matching your description boosting cars." Maya almost laughed. Her dad's estate was a paid-off bungalow and $42 in a savings account. The only thing she'd boosted lately was morale and a Kandahar chow hall. But the smirk told her everything. They saw brown skin, hoodie, nighttime, and wrote the rest of the story themselves. She complied, always comply. That was the rule civilians never understood. Comply until you can't, then survive. They patted her down twice, found the folded flag in her cargo pocket, asked if she knew anybody in a gang that uses flags. She bit the inside of her cheek until she tasted iron. When they ran her prints and nothing pinged, Delgado's jaw tightened. "We're detaining you for suspicion." Suspicion of what? He never said. They zip-tied her wrists, tossed her in the back of the cruiser, and that's when the radio chatter turned ugly, a string of robberies in Baldwin Hills, suspect described as Hispanic female, 5'4" to 5'7", dark clothing. Close enough for government work. At the station, the holding cell smelled like bleach and broken dreams. Maya sat on the metal bench, wrists raw, counting. Heartbeats the way Bud's instructors taught her to count breaths underwater. She watched the clock tick past midnight. No phone call, no lawyer, just the occasional stare through the bars from cops who decided her guilt before the ink was dry. At 2:17 a.m. the shift changed. A new sergeant, big guy, Polynesian, name-tape Topher, did a double-take when he saw the trident tattoo peeking above her tank top after they'd made her change into County Orange. He didn't say anything, just disappeared. 10 minutes later, the cell door clanged open, and a female captain with silver bars and zero patience ordered Maya cut loose. "Charges?" Maya asked. "Dropped," The captain snapped, but her eyes said sorry in a language only warriors speak. Maya walked out into the sodium glow of the parking lot with nothing but her duffel and a righteous fury simmering so hot it steamed the rain off her skin. She should have gone straight to the bus station, caught the first ride east, and never looked back. But Maya Calderon didn't leave brothers behind, and tonight the city had made her remember she still had brothers, hundreds of them scattered across Coronado, Virginia Beach, and every VFW hall in between. She pulled the burner phone she'd never surrendered, scrolled to a number labeled Ghost, and hit call. "Rip!" came the gravel voice that once dragged her hypothermic body out of the Pacific during Hell Week. "Tell me where," she told him. 30 minutes later, 3 unmarked Suburbans rolled up with plates that didn't exist in any database. Out stepped Master Chief Elijah Ghost Whitaker, trident gleaming on a black windbreaker, flanked by 2 active duty SEALs on training detachment and 1 very pissed-off former teammate who now ran Blackwater's Executive Protection Division. They didn't ask permission. They simply loaded Maya into the middle vehicle and drove. The dashcam footage leaked 48 hours later and broke the internet. It shows Delgado and Ramirez clocking off shift, climbing into Delgado's lifted Tacoma, still laughing about the mouthy chick with the fake tattoo. They never saw the convoy box them in at the red light on Slauson. Ghost himself stepped out, rapped on the window with knuckles that had punched through drywall and enemy skulls alike. Delgado rolled the glass down 2 inches. "Problem, sir?" Ghost smiled the way great whites smile. "Big one." Then he reached in, unlocked the door, and extracted both officers like they weighed nothing. The body cams caught every second, the polite request for badges, the reading of rights most cops never hear turned back on them, the calm recitation of California Penal Code sections for false imprisonment, civil rights violations, and something about conduct unbecoming that made Ramirez go pale. The SEALs didn't raise a voice. They didn't need to. The message was simple. You picked the wrong blank woman. But Maya wasn't done. She spent the next week embedded with a pro bono law firm that specialized in police misconduct. They turned her $42 into a federal lawsuit that named every officer in the chain, right up to the watch commander who lost her booking paperwork. Discovery unearthed bodycam deletions, dispatched logs that contradicted the official report, and piece de resistance, a text chain where Delgado bragged he could always spot a gang tat from a mile away. The Trident, it turned out, was photographed in high def during the illegal strip search and emailed station-wide with the caption, "Look what the barrio sent us." The city settled for $4.2 million before the case ever saw a jury. Half went to Maya's dad's favorite vet charity. The other half bought a little house in Virginia Beach with a porch that faced the ocean, where the waves sounded real. The night the settlement hit the news, Maya stood on that porch in dress blues she hadn't worn since the ceremony, medals catching moonlight. Her phone buzzed. "Ghost. You good, Rip?" She watched a storm roll in over. The Atlantic felt the titanium rod throb like it was remembering shrapnel. "I'm good," she said, "but tomorrow I start the foundation. Every kid who gets profiled gets a scholarship and a lawyer who bites." Ghost chuckled. "Copy that. We'll supply the teeth." Back in LA, Delgado and Ramirez were decertified, their careers ash. The department rolled out mandatory bias training narrated by none other than Master Chief Whitaker, who stared straight into the camera and said, "Next time you see ink, read it before you cuff it." Some stories end careers. The clip went viral, 30 million views in a week, comments flooded with TR loose change and folded flags. And somewhere in America, a girl with a fresh enlistment contract watched that video on her cracked phone, traced the Trident she'd soon earn, and whispered, "That'll be me." The rain never really stopped that night in the alley. It just followed Maya across the country, washing the city clean 1 drop at a time. So tell me, from which part of the country are you watching this video right now? Drop your city or state in the comments. I read every single one, and your story might just be the next one I tell.